the amazing adventures of Spider-Man at Universal's Islands of Adventure. Now before we begin this video, we need to address the elephant in the room. Disney has opened their own SpiderMan Ride. However, even with Universal's being over 20 years old, let's face it, it's still the best Spider-Man ride by far. I'm sorry, but Universal has this rogue gallery of famous Spider-Man villains, and Disney has Spider-Bots. It's cool, but you know, Universal beat them on this one. Anyway, let's go catch the latest scoop of facts in today's episode of Top 5 Universal.
Spider-Man won't be able to stop me! Time to throw you off the street! You're in for it! Yeah! Hey, wait for me! Guess that wraps things up.
What is Universal's Spider-Man ride based on? If you said Spider-Man, wow, you're a genius! But what I'm really talking about is the style of the attraction, which comes from Spider-Man the animated series. If you're a 90s kid, you might be familiar with the Fox Kids Network, which was home to some of the most beloved animated shows of all time. The show followed the adventures of Peter Parker, as each episode he would have a fun adventure, with it always ending with him fighting an iconic Spider-Man villain. Spider-Man the animated series lasted from November 19th, 1994 to January 31st, 1998, with the show creating 65 episodes in a 5-season run. This show holds a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people, so it's kind of cool this version of Spider-Man still lives on at the Universal Spider-Man ride today. While walking through the offices of the Daily Bugle, you'll eventually come across a set of shelves with trophies and certificates. At first glance, you might not think much of it. However, those certificates have the names of some of the people most involved in the development and the creation of the Spider-Man ride, which is a nice Easter egg to some of the Universal creative team members who worked so hard in giving us one of the most beloved attractions ever built.
The guest on the vehicle won't be able to tell exactly where the screen ends and where the sets begin. Everything will be mixed together into one immersive environment.
The Spider-Man ride is pretty much the same ride that opened in 1999. Or is it? As in 2012, the attraction was given a digital upgrade to bring it a little more up to date and feeling fresh. The ride is pretty much the same, even the designs of the various characters, it's the exact same, but just cleaned up and refreshed. However, with the exception of one character, Doc Ock. Now get ready for this, as Universal decided to give him a brown trench coat. Even if the attraction is on the older side, it's good to know that Universal's Spider-Man ride is still being taken care of. The late and great Stan Lee. You all know who Stan Lee is. He's pretty much the godfather of comic books, or you might know him as the old guy who makes a cameo in almost every Marvel movie. But for the context of this video, he's one of the co-creators of Spider-Man. So him being one of the reasons we got Spider-Man in the first place, it only makes sense he gets a cameo on the attraction the same way he does in the films. We first see his animated self driving a garbage truck almost crashing into us. Later, we can see him run with a woman into safety as Doc Ock attacks the city. Towards the end of the attraction, we can see him as Spider-Man saves us with one of his webs. The fourth cameo is during the final scene of the attraction when Spider-Man has all the villains tangled up in a web. And the final Stan Lee cameo is his voice telling us we did a great job.
Good job, Team Scoop! You did great!
Before we unload the attraction. These are all pretty awesome Easter eggs to the legendary comic book creator. Also, just wanted to share this real quick. When Stan Lee did unfortunately pass away in 2018, Universal left him a small memorial.
You know, I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said.
Transformers and Spider-Man. What do they have in common? Well, almost nothing. However, their rides, that's a different story, as the Spider-Man and Transformers ride are pretty much exactly the same. They share the same track layout and same cars. Well, obviously, Universal's never came out with a reason for this, but there are two possible explanations. The first, it's just cheaper to duplicate rides. The second one, we're gonna have to put on our tinfoil hats. Many suspect that when Disney bought out Marvel in 2009, Universal started to explore new ideas just in case for any reason they would have to close Marvel Superhero Island, so they would be prepared and have a backup. And Spider-Man's backup was Transformers. Once Universal realized their Marvel Land was safe, they decided to take the Transformers ride concept and move it over to the main park. But that's the reason many people believe the Spider-Man and Transformers ride are the same. Is this true? It's completely your choice to believe it or not. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, even being over 20 years old, is still one of the best rides ever built. And once again, still the best Spider-Man ride. Anyway guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you have any favorite attractions at the Disney or Universal parks, feel free to leave it in the comments below. But for now, I'll see you in the next one.
Spider-Man won't be able to stop me. Time to throw you off the street. You're in for it. Yeah! Hey, wait for me!
Guess that wraps things up.